If you thought stealing a candy bar from a drugstore was bad, wait till you see what some of these guys on this list stole. One group managed to steal an 800-year-old tree, while one guy tried importing fossilized dinosaur bones. And wait till you see what the number one biggest thing was. So, here are the 10 biggest things ever stolen. Let's dive right into it, shall we? Number 10. Stealing a whole fossilized dinosaur. For our first pick, we have Eric Prokopi, the man from Florida that managed to steal the fossilized remains of an entire Tyrannosaurus bataar. The T. bataar was a relative of the T-Rex. This means that the dinosaur looked very much like a T-Rex, but it was a bit longer, with a shorter build and more teeth inside of that big mouth. But unfortunately for Prokopi, the dinosaur was native Mongolia. When he got to US Customs, the man said he was carrying dinosaur bones that he found in the UK. The customs officers let him through, and shortly after coming back home, he auctioned off the dinosaur for just a little over $1 million. After a little inspection, Prokopi got served 2 court cases and was forced to return the dinosaur to the country of origin, aka Mongolia. Number 9. Stealing an 800-year-old tree. There was this red cedar tree in Vancouver Island on the southwestern coast of Canada. The tree had been 800 years old, and that's why many poachers draw up plans for stealing it. Only one group was successful in doing so, and here's how it happened. The group cut the 9-foot-wide tree 80% of the way through. When rangers saw this, they were baffled as to who would do such a thing. Worrying it might injure some of the nearby passengers, they decided to cut it down and let it decompose in the forest. They thought the poachers had given up, so there was nothing to worry about, right? Well, the thieves were back as soon as they heard the tree had been cut down. They loaded it in a truck, and no one saw them again. Number 8. Stealing a Mustang fighter plane from a museum. Back in the 1980s, the Israeli Air Force tasked Major Aryeh Yistaki to restore an old Mustang fighter plane that was used in World War II. The major accepted, and he began working on the model. When the reparations were finished, the major had to wait for the government to come and pick up the plane from the reserve airfield where it was parked. But Aryeh wasn't really satisfied with the fee he was paid for the work. So, what did he do? Well, he smashed that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, he actually flew the plane to Sweden, had it sold for $331,000, and then came back with a briefcase full of cash. Life was good for the major and his family, but 6 years later, the government finally tracked it down, returned the plane to the museum, and served the major with a prison sentence. Number 7. Stealing a metal bridge for scrap metal. A group of thieves managed to steal about 75 feet of this bridge, which is equal to 56 tons of material. The reason they could do this without anyone noticing is because the bridge was located in the remote Arctic area, 100 miles south of Murmansk. And since the bridge was used for transporting rare materials from the nearby plant that went bankrupt a decade ago, no one was using the bridge. This meant big money for the thieves. If the thieves stole the 56-ton parts and sold them for scrap metal, they would get about 600,000 rubles, roughly $9,000. Just $9,000 for stealing a structure half the size of a blue whale. That's just pathetic. Number 6. Stealing a 3,000-pound bell. Buddhists say enlightenment comes when you let go of material objects. How enlightened were the monks when they let go of a 3,000-pound bell? We doubt any, because the bell was a major part of the Tacoma Buddhist temple in Washington. The authorities were baffled by the thieves, and they couldn't put a finger on how they managed to steal a giant bell without anyone noticing. The monks assumed that whoever stole it wanted to make money off this sacred object, without any consideration about its importance to the temple. Whatever the case, let's just hope they melted it down and sold it for scrap copper. Otherwise, it would be insane walking into a pawn shop with a 3,000-pound bell. Number 5. Stealing a Boeing 727. The plane was constructed back in 1975, and it's been operated by American Airlines until the year 2000. After that, it was sitting at the Quatro de Fevereiro Airport in Luanda, Angola. Sitting there for 14 months, it gathered around $4 million in airport fees. Then, On May 25, 2003, the airport operator saw two men board the plane. One of them was American pilot Ben C. Padilla, and the other one was John M. Mutantu, a mechanic from the Republic of Congo. The plane took flight in the early morning of May 25th, and they have never seen it since. But it couldn't have gotten far, as it only had enough fuel for a 1,500-mile trip. Neither the two men nor the plane have ever been seen since, which left a lot of people saying that it crashed in the ocean. Number 4. Stealing an ancient Chinese bridge. If you thought the Russians were crazy for stealing a metal bridge for scrap metal, what would you say about these people that stole a 100-year-old bridge from the Qing dynasty in China? That's right, a bunch of thieves managed to dismantle and steal a 55-foot bridge that was deemed a cultural relic since 2008. They sold the bridge to a garden company that paid 30,000 yuan for the relic. That's approximately $5,000. Number 3. Stealing an entire church brick by brick. Stealing a bridge is one thing, but stealing an entire church brick by brick is something completely different. And again, out of all places it could happen, it was Russia. The building was 200 years old, and it was closed down back in 1998. Seeing how no one was using the object, some local villagers from Komarovo dismantled the building, one brick at a time. The last time someone saw the building whole was back in July of 2008, but by October of the same year, the church went missing. Number 2. Stealing the Empire State Building. While thieves in Russia and China were stealing bridges, in America, one of the major newspapers managed to steal the entire Empire State Building, and they did it in no more than 90 minutes. That's right, the New York Daily News managed to draw up some bogus documents, made a fake notary stamp, and filed the required paperwork with the city to transfer the deed to the property. They added some crazy information to the papers, like the fact that the notaries share a name with bank robber Willie Sutton. The New York Daily News wanted to prove that New York City has a giant loophole for recording deeds and mortgages, because the clerks are not required to review the info. Number 1. Stealing a mountain peak in India. We cannot estimate how much they made for this transaction, but we do know that about 1/3 of the mountain has already been hacked down. You see, the Mahatma village is very poor, and the locals don't have any job opportunities. When locals found out that property developers are looking to buy the rocks from a mountain, the villagers got to work. They are toiling away 11 hours of their day to make a living and bring food to the table. And many locals have attacked the local government for not providing the villagers with decent jobs and put an end to the destruction of Mountain Humta Pahad. On a related note, we wanted to know what are some of the largest things you've seen people stealing. You can tell us in the comment section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.